Thank you, Mayor Bliss and City Commissioners, for your leadership and your invaluable efforts in navigating us through these difficult times. As City Manager, I am honored to be part of the state of the city, but I'm also honored to make sure that this is the city of the state that shines as an example of what resilience, imagination, innovation, renaissance, and inclusion can look like. During the past 2 years, we have been through the valley of the pandemic, recession, social injustice, and are continuing to climb our way through a period of economic recovery and renewal. The city's values and strategic plan have guided us with our values of accountability, equity, sustainability, customer service, innovation, and collaboration as it anchors us in our mission of elevating the quality of life through excellent city services. Throughout this turbulent time, we have delivered important outcomes for all Grand Rapidians while continuing to provide vital municipal services that you rely on. We also have been diligent in making sure that disparities are addressed and there are equitable outcomes in housing, public safety, mobility, economic development, environmental justice, and workforce diversity, just to name a few. And I've heavily leaned on our community partners as well as our Office of Equity and Engagement to make sure that equity is not just an aspiration, but has associated action with it. The fiscal year 22 budget had $25 million of investments that furthered equitable outcomes. We have implemented public safety reforms outlined in the Police Department's strategic plan and partnered with the community on new community-engaged violence prevention and reduction strategies such as Cure Violence. We have helped our local economy continue to recover from the pandemic-caused recession with relief funding, social zones, and fee waivers. We have continued to help the unhoused and to make progress on affordable and safe housing. And with your help and support, we have enhanced community engagement while making important quality of life investments. I want to take this moment to thank our outgoing police chief, Eric Payne, who is retiring after nearly 35 years of distinguished service to our city, and having the outcome of reducing 2021 homicides by 50% when compared to 2020. This was done through the collaboration of the police department and community stakeholders. The police department will continue with the neighborhood policing model that emphasizes crime prevention and reduction and community trust building. Other public safety enhancements include Cure Violence and expanded co-response model with mental health partners such as Network 180. I want to thank the county for their partnership as well. Even as we congratulate Chief Payne on his retirement, we are excited about our next police chief, Eric Winstrom, who will be sworn in and serving our community on Monday, March 7th. The city is fortunate to hire someone as qualified and talented as Eric Winstrom to serve as our next police chief, as he's also a certified law enforcement officer, an attorney, and an expert on the Fourth Amendment. I look forward to working with him and continuing to advance policing in our community and this journey to strengthen trust between our community and our police department. With Mr. Winstrom's help, the police department will reach their goal of becoming the safest mid-sized city and the most trusted police department in the United States. Another key member of my administration, Deputy City Manager Eric DeLong, is also retiring after many years of service. He has made a tremendous contribution to Grand Rapids, having played a leading role in its growth and development through a series of outstanding projects and collaborative solution-oriented approaches to make sure that we get to yes on important projects. Kate Behrens will be our next Deputy City Manager and will begin on March 9th as we've hired her from Bellevue, Washington. And she has been responsible for leading key initiatives in Bellevue around economic development, planning, financial services, transportations, and housing. She is well positioned to build upon Mr. DeLong's legacy and build her own. This city is doing our part within our scope of influence to achieve equitable growth in our local economy. We continue to invest in retail retention and attraction efforts. At least 118 small businesses, more than half of them are minority-owned, received grant assistance totaling $500,000. And the number of micro-local businesses registered to do business with the city has grown by 76% since 2020. This increases the opportunity for diverse community participants to join in the contract work with the city. A new round of small business grant awards is also in progress and will soon be completed. The city continues to support local businesses through expanding outdoor dining and social zones. Art Prize returned in 2021 and will return in 2022, and at the pace of special events is expected to accelerate the outcomes in 2021. The city has prioritized efforts in affordable housing in many ways this past year. We've allocated $5.9 million for affordable housing investments. A new affordable housing fund, which was established, will continue our commitment over the long term. Soon, the Affordable Housing Fund Board will begin to make decisions about investments in the framework to grow affordable housing in our community and increase housing supply over the next generations. We've made housing safer by replacing 443 water service lines. A $5 million grant from the Environmental Protection Agency that will begin in 2022 will allow us to replace another 1,600 lead service lines in neighborhoods of focus over the next 4 years. We have also hired a lead program specialist, Paul Hahn, to help us focus our efforts on mitigating the health impact of lead-based paint, in which most children affected by this environmental hazard live in the 49507 zip code. To help the unhoused community, we have expanded the homeless outreach team and continue to partner and collaborate with other stakeholders to make sure that we have emergency shelter in COVID during the winter to make sure that social distancing can be achieved. Quality of life infrastructure investments included the completion of 10 park improvement projects, planting of over 1,400 trees, the continuation of e-scooters and e-bikes, improved bus stop cleanliness, and approval of 43 bus stop shelters that we will continue to install over the next year. This is in addition to $28 million investment in roads through the vital streets, which includes $3.1 million to maintain and enhance our city sidewalk network. We are continuing to strive for our climate, environmental, and decarbonization goals. We were recently ranked 31 out of 100 cities measured by their efforts to equitably reduce energy waste in homes and buildings and facilitating access to efficient transportation for historically marginalized people and moving towards a cleaner power grid. Through the Participatory Budgeting Pilot Project, the community will propose, define, and choose projects funded by a $2 million allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds. The Participatory Budgeting Pilot will advance us towards a project selection and implementation in 2022. And the Community Master Plan will help us facilitate conversations around what our community will look like in the future over the next 20 to 30 years. We're pleased to do this in collaboration with all our partners. Our population has grown since 2010 by 5.6%. And several corporations have chosen to maintain or bring their headquarters to Grand Rapids. Our work in Grand Rapids' continued success depends on your help and engaged input. Engaging and connecting with the Grand Rapids community is one of our top priorities in our strategic plan. We recently expanded the scope and reached the city's community engagement efforts through our digital newsletter, GR Connected, and the social media platforms. An engaged community plays a meaningful role both in public decision-making as well as the implementation of projects that affects our daily lives. In 2022, we will continue to engage our community and participate in the National Community Survey, whereby we measure resident satisfaction with the state of our city services, and particularly our municipal services that affect all your lives, such as trash collection and road repair. We continue to compare ourselves to other communities. This is the second time participating in this survey, and it's the first time since the pandemic. By participating in this survey, you will equip our city to make better informed decisions based on the feedback and engagement of our residents. On behalf of myself and all the dedicated professionals who continue to work hard to serve you and our workforce and elevate the quality of life of all Grand Rapidians, we want to thank you for your continued support.